This is Real Life with Deb Waterbury, a real show for real people with real issues. And now, here's your host, Dr. Deb Waterbury.
Welcome to our final episode in this series of Real Life with Deb Waterbury. As y'all know, we've been talking for the last 5 or 6 weeks on self-help. In the first 4 weeks, we talked about some spiritual self-help stuff. But the last 2 weeks, last week we did one on skincare, and I wanted to end this week with something that I think is, well, it's near and dear to my heart, mostly because I don't know anything about it, besides yelling and saying curse words. That's the only kind of self-defense that I know. So we're talking, and I was going to introduce my friend Holly in a minute, but Holly and I were talking, and she does Krav Maga and knows a bit about self-defense. So I originally asked her to do the show, and she was like, nah, maybe I'll get my instructor, which is Danielle. So I want to introduce first Holly Hodges. Hi, Holly.
Hi, how you doing?
Holly is my friend. Her and I both of our husbands are pilots in the Guard, and so we know each other through that. So Holly, thank you for being here. So you and I were on the bus, and we were on the bus going to go be on a tanker ride to watch our husbands refuel.
This is cool.
And she and I were talking, and Holly told me about, well, we were talking about a bunch of stuff, and you started talking about Krav Maga, which I have a couple of friends who do that, but I don't know anything about it. So you started telling me a bit about it. How did you get into that?
I first got into it because I just love the idea of being able to take care of myself. Mm-hmm. And I really like the idea of being able to protect not only my family, but other people.
Right.
And so once I got into it, I just fell in love with it, the passion of it. It was empowering.
You know, and when I don't know, but what I've always thought about Krav Maga was that it was more just about the learning some martial arts. I never really thought about it as being self-defense, but it really is, isn't it?
Very much. It's just being aware of what's going on around you, right. How to be able to take care of a situation that you're in, providing space. It's so much fun.
Is it?
And it's such an amazing workout.
That's what I've heard. And a lot of my friends who do the workout as well.
Very
so
much
there's lots of reasons to do Krav Maga. I don't want to have my back to you, Danielle, because you scare me, quite frankly, but I'll talk to you in a minute. So how long have you been doing it?
I started in 2011, and I've been doing it for a while. Then I started instructing, and then I got back with it with Jesse and Danielle, and it's been amazing.
Yeah,
so much fun.
So have you ever had to use it? I mean, that's what I want to know.
On my children, but not necessarily for anything that I had to.
We're going to pretend that didn't get. We're going to edit that out.
Yes, good. Thank you.
I'm teasing. Honestly, that's who I'd like to use it on.
It just helps me in a parking lot, making sure that I know what's going on. I'm looking, I'm making sure what's going on around me. It just gives me that confidence when I walk out to know, okay, I know what's going on around me,
and I can take care of it.
Very much so.
Something's going down.
Yes.
And it won't be you. Yeah. That's important.
Sometimes I look for it. No, I don't. I never do.
See, that's what I would think. I'd be too aggressive. I'd be walking around going, who wants to fight? So I mean, honestly, she told me more about it and what she was doing, and I love Holly, and to hear, and she's, her dad's a pastor, all that stuff runs in her family, so hearing all that from her perspective really helped me think that might be something I would like to do. So I want to introduce then Danielle Fredette. And Danielle and her husband both run, and what's the name of the studio?
Tucson's Rising Phoenix Fitness and Defense.
Tucson's Rising Phoenix Fitness and Defense. I said the whole thing, and I said the last name right. So Danielle, have you always been her instructor, or has it been Jesse at first?
It was Jesse.
Jesse, yeah. Okay. And so you do, you and I were talking earlier, you do some self-defense classes for women, and then you do some other things as well. First off, though, tell the story of how you got started, because I think that's such a sweet story.
Oh, yes. So I was friends with Jesse, who later became a husband, and I was, we were Facebook friends, and he posted about a women's self-defense class.
Yeah.
And I love my mom. I wanted to do something fun with her. So I called
what
her.
better way than to just go throw people around?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Mom, let's go try this. Let's go try this.
Mom, you'll love it.
Oh yeah.
She did.
She loved it. She actually still trains now, but that's what started the whole thing. Was we went to this class, and there was just something about being in your body and feeling that power and using the voice, and so much came up and out, and like you said, Holly, very empowering, and I was hooked. So I started taking Krav Maga classes, and then I eventually took over the children's class, and then took over the women's self-defense class, and then that branched out into doing seminars with the University of Arizona and other nonprofits in town, businesses in town. We do private things. things, and mostly
And so you
focused
still
on
do
women.
all that? So that we're going to have the information underneath this that you'll know how to get in touch with Danielle. I mean, honestly, so you still do the children's classes as well?
My mom and Jesse kind of do that one a little bit more.
So your mom actually does some of it and teaches it as well?
Oh yeah.
So
she's awesome.
I totally dig it. I know. It makes me feel like I'm not too old, because I feel like I'm too old for many things. But
no.
Okay. Well, good. All right. So you know then that it was something that you saw women needed, right? So give me some reasons why you think this is a good thing for women.
Oh, where to start? First off, it's important to know how to defend yourself, should you have to. And we kind of like to think of self-defense on this spectrum is that it's not always that physical aggression against a stranger, but it's also comes down to self-defense and the fact that if somebody is crossing your boundaries, and having the confidence to speak up and say, I don't like that, you need to stop. And I've found that through the physical piece of it, that like having fun in the moment, hitting pads, that helps a woman gain so much confidence that it transfers into those little things. It transfers into her voice. It transfers into her actions, her awareness, the way she holds herself. So
I never thought about that, but even because I've never taken an actual self-defense class, I've taken a shooting class, and the shooting class was to defend with a gun. And I remember the guy saying that if you're not willing to use this, everything I'm teaching you right now is for nothing. And part of the confidence of knowing you can defend yourself is the fact that you will use it. And I, understanding that becoming proficient with the firearm helped me be okay with if that situation came up. And I can imagine it would be the same thing with this. When you know you can, then you're confident that you will, and you really can carry yourself differently. Yeah, so that's okay. So what I want, and y'all know this show's not long enough because I would love to do like an hour, because I'd really like to just get into what's going on inside that head, but but that would be a whole different kind of show. So what I want to do right quick is Danielle has agreed to do a little demonstration, and since you wore a dress, which I think you did on purpose, I have to do the demonstration with Danielle. So if you want to just kind of step over a little bit, Holly, would you take this, darling? Holly, I'm going to have you come back over here in a minute. So tell me what we're going to do, and then don't throw me on the floor.
Okay, so the foundational piece of the women's self-defense class that we do is really focused on targeting the human body. So what are good targets to go for? What are targets to avoid? Because, like large muscle groups, things like that.
Right.
So it's about what targets are good to hit on the human body, but also how to use your body exactly as it is, which is why we say you're never too old, because it's your body as it is. You deserve to defend yourself.
This is it.
Yeah. So a lot of what we do in the beginning is targeting. So like eyes and ears and different things like that.
Okay.
And then we bring that into a self-defense technique.
Okay.
So the one that we're going to do today is a wrist grab.
A wrist grab.
Because a wrist grab is something that is a little bit more, women are more likely to face something like, because it can be innocent. I'm just going to toss my watch over here.
Of course.
It can be as innocent as somebody just holding your wrist, or it can be more aggressive, and it's kind of like it doesn't matter. It can look like anything.
And you mentioned when we were talking before the show that this is almost a gateway thing.
Like it's kind of like a gateway grab. It can be innocent or it can be more aggressive to pull you in closer for a more intense grab or something like that.
And what I'd said to her was maybe this is one of those moves that if we knew it, we could keep the rest of the stuff from happening. Because if we can get away from somebody who's grabbing your wrist, then you might not have to hit them in other areas eventually, which I'm sure you teach us how to do. Yeah,
we really look at the escalation of it. Assessing the situation was a huge piece that Holly said is what is this situation like? So I'll go through a few examples, and we're going to start with the same side wrist grab.
Okay.
In classes, there's always that what if piece, well, what if they grab me this way? What if there's answers? And it all comes back to the foundation. So for the purposes of this one, I'll have you grab my same side wrist.
Okay, right now?
So same side. So if it was something a little bit more innocent, maybe at a gathering, just trying to, and I just don't want you to touch me because those are my boundaries. But I also don't want to get you in the eyes and kick you in the groin. Like this, I don't feel like I'm in fear for my life right now.
Right, okay.
So a simple wrist grab without attacking those vital points would be to roll my pinky up and over and to the outside, kind of like a wax on kind of motion.
Okay.
So.
Oh, yeah, there's no way I could have held on to her.
Yep, and I'm just leading with my pinky there.
Okay.
So, but let's say we're in a different situation.
Right.
Things are maybe a little bit heated, and now I feel like I'm a little bit more scared. I want to get away. Again, maybe I know you. I don't want to go right for those eyes.
Because you got to see me.
Because I have to see. Well, maybe, I don't know.
How embarrassing.
I don't know. But a palm strike right to the nose. Palm strike to the nose, kind of soften it up before. Oh, go ahead and hold on.
Okay.
So palm strike to the nose, and then I'm bringing my thumb up, and I'm twisting away.
Okay.
So I'm going for that strike first.
You're still doing some damage, man, because that hurt like a big dog if you hit somebody.
Right?
In the nose.
Yeah, a palm strike, and we really emphasize those palms over fists for reasons that I won't get into right now because I know we're really short. And I want to go over one last variation of that. So again, this is maybe a much more intense situation. Maybe you're a stranger. I'm in fear for my life right now.
Okay.
So another target that we talk about in class, maybe I'll go for the eyes with an eye gouge. Maybe I'll knee to the groin, and then I'm doing that same motion where I rip away.
Now, do you rip away after you poke their eyes out, or is it so it's poking?
You want to soften them up.
Yes, then you can get away
exactly.
easily. And those are your very beginning moves, right?
Yes.
Now, do you get into the stuff where you literally are throwing them on the ground and stuff?
Well,
I really want to throw some on the ground. Can you tell?
I love that enthusiasm. Yes. Sometimes, and honestly, it depends, and that's my answer for a lot of things in the classes. I really try to assess the women that are coming in because it is a community or a donation-based class.
Right.
Because we want the community to come in.
Good.
We want women from all walks of life. We don't want to charge a certain amount because we want this knowledge accessible to everyone. And they come with different situations, different backgrounds, different fears.
Right,
and I really try to take that into consideration with every class. So if I know that there are women who maybe have experienced trauma, it'll be a little bit lower key. We won't be doing as much yelling, and it won't be as intense. But if there are women who've been coming with me for a while, then yeah, we can get into some of those chokes and some of those grabs.
Okay, come back over here, girlie. So to draw this to a close then, first off, I'm going to sign up. That's the first thing. And I'm signing up Alex. You're coming too, Alex, my assistant. So I think this is really an important thing. I mean, I think it's important because unfortunately, we live in a time where we have to think about this stuff.
Very much.
And we really have to think about, like you said, Holly, and I think that was so wise, it's not just about protecting you and it's not even about protecting, it's about defending. And defending if something were to happen, it's about your kids too.
100%.
And your stuff and where you are, and not having to, because I don't know about y'all, but my biggest fear is that I know what to do, but if something happens, I might not do it because I don't think of it because it's not my knee jerk.
I use the thing, I would rather say I'm sorry to some guy that approached me and I was incorrect than to not say anything and have something bad happen.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because sorry's a lot easier.
It is a lot
it doesn't
easier.
hurt you nearly as much. So we're going to make sure we have all of that information underneath here on how you can get a hold of Danielle, how you can sign up for these classes. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them scroll them underneath us here, and we'll get them to Danielle. If you want to know what class I'm in, when I get signed up, I'll let you know. We can all go together. What I love though is this whole idea of the seminars. I love the fact that she'll come to businesses. So if you have a business, or once we get off this quarantine business, and you want her to come in and show your entire group that, please get in touch with her. I also love that it's donation based, that so you can give what it is that you can give, and this is really open to everybody. It's not exclusive because it's something we all need.
Yes.
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 Well, thank you so much, Holly. You look beautiful, and I appreciate you being on. And thank you, Danielle.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Well, God bless you guys. We will see you next week. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Real Life with Deb Waterbury. I hope it's been a blessing to you as much as it was to me. If you want any of my books or information on articles or any of my speaking engagements, you can go to my website at debwaterbury.com. God bless you.